by Hayes.
Now the ball pops loose, and Maple Grove's going to have it.
Right out in front, they score!
Hi, and welcome to a special New Year's Week edition of Sports Jam. I'm Jay Wilcox.
And I'm John Jacobson. Today we take a look back at a half dozen of our favorite Sports Jam Spotlight stories from 2014. And we'll start with a story from a warm week late last spring. Wayzata Sarah Burnham capped a remarkable 6-year high school golf career in June. Here is that Sports Jam Spotlight.
I basically tried every sport there was, and golf just seemed to fit with me the best.
Worked out the best indeed. Sarah Burnham is the defending high school state champion in Class 3A. This from a player who got off to a slow start when she first picked up a club in 3rd grade.
I was about 9, and I played in my first tournament when I was 10. So, yeah. Actually, fun fact, I took dead last my first tournament ever, and I was just so upset. But then, I don't know, I kept going, and it turned out to be a good sport for me.
Wayzata coach Mike Schumacher knew he had a special player at Burnham's first practice as a 7th grader in March of 2009.
In the golf world, the sound that the club makes on the impact of the golf ball means a lot. And you can tell how crisply, how solidly a ball is struck by the sound it makes. And the first ball she hit, I went, kid can play. And then she continued to do it over and over and over and over again.
In those early years, Sarah said she was helped a lot by the older Wayzata girls.
I remember back in 7th grade, Jess Kingston, she was the captain. She always helped me out. And she was just super nice to me, and it was awesome. And then going throughout my years, going freshman, like Taylor Fontaine and Emily Erickson, they were captains back then as well. And they were just great role models for the whole team.
As good as she is individually, Sarah believes in golf as a team sport at Wayzata.
The team is awesome, and to be able to represent Wayzata is like a dream. It's a great school, great program, and I just have lots of fun with the team.
Burnham's worked hard to improve her game, coming out to her home course of Rush Creek almost daily in the summer and working hours on end.
My son and I play out here at Rush Creek pretty often, and numerous times we've come out, seen her on the putting green before we teed off, played 4.5 hours later, and there's Sarah on the putting green. And I'm not exaggerating, it's happened several times. That's the kind of impact she's had on our program. It's just her work ethic and her drive to be great, and it rubs off, it really does.
Sarah says her mental game has improved too, pushing out distractions, and recalls back in 7th grade when Channel 12 came out to shoot highlights of a couple of Wayzata's tournaments.
I was like, oh, there's a camera, oh my gosh, what do I do? It was really nerve-wracking at first, but I think I've gotten used to it now.
Said, the camera's right there on the tee box. It makes me really nervous. And I said, well, Sarah, if you're gonna be this good, you're gonna have to get used to it. And there we go.
It's not just high school where Sarah's enjoyed success. She plays several national qualifiers and local MGA events. In 2012, she won the Women's State Open, and last summer, the State Am. Accomplishments like that earned Sarah a golf scholarship at Michigan State University. Though quiet by nature, those who know her best say Sarah Burnham is a fierce competitor on the golf course, and the defending state champion admits as much.
I really like playing in tournaments. I love competition, and I love the feeling of almost like winning or shooting a good score. It's a great feeling.
Sarah helped lead the Trojans to the Class AA championship last June. She finished 2nd as an individual. Now a freshman at Michigan State, Sarah led the team in scoring average during the fall season. The Spartan spring season starts with a tournament in California in early February.
Maple Grove won a state football playoff game for the first time in school history this fall, ultimately losing to eventual Class 6A champ Eden Prairie in the semifinals. We met a Crimson lineman who was a big factor in their success on and off the field.
This Big Ben is a valuable asset for a very good Crimson team. Ben Shoults is a talented offensive lineman. At 6'5", 270, he has ideal size and also moves well for a big man.
I would say my biggest strength is my quick feet out there. I worked on it over the summer, and I saw a vast improvement from last year, and it's helped me block some of the best guys in the state this year.
He's as good an old lineman as I've had the chance to coach, and he's athletic enough. I get to use him in the backfield a little bit too, and we use him as a fullback, and he gets out on the edge, and he's a special player, and he has really good body control for a big kid.
Schultz and his line mates have opened a lot of holes for talented running backs Clark Winicky and Isaac Collins. They've also helped to keep sophomore quarterback Brad Davison on his feet.
I think that's always the goal of the O-line, is to keep the quarterback safe and stuff like that, but especially with Brad, he's coming in as a sophomore and he's done best job possible, but yeah, we try to keep him on his feet, and he's a great leader in the huddle, and I mean, that helps.
Ben's football skill is matched or exceeded by his academic prowess. A 3.98 student who scored a 33 on his ACT, he's headed to Harvard.
I think ever since as a kid, I'd wanted to go to Harvard, and once that opportunity arose, I jumped on it as quick as I could, and I worked on my schoolwork as well as my football abilities, and once they offered me, I just couldn't say no.
He'll also play football for the Harvard Crimson, and has biochemistry in mind as a major.
I like a lot of science and math classes, and I want to be a pediatrician when I'm older, so I think biochemistry would be a great lead into medical school.
Ben's ability in the classroom and on the field is impressive, but it's his leadership that stands out with his football team.
He's good. He's a leader. He's very aggressive. He takes control. He's just a very good leader. He has an effect on everybody else and challenges us.
He's a fun guy. He's a great leader on and off the field. Gives some good halftime and pregame speeches. He's just a fun guy, smart, obviously, going to Harvard and everything. So, yeah, he's a good guy.
He's the ultimate leader. He's kind of taken everybody in from the get-go. He's a very vocal kid, very smart. He's a 4.0 GPA, 33, 34 ACT kid. He's going to go to Harvard, and so got unbelievable intelligence, but boy, has he been a leader for us. And he's a leader for the school. He does the same thing with the new students that came in, so he's really kind of taken over Maple Grove.
I love leading the kids, especially the younger kids, teaching them the ways of Crimson football and how we do things up here. In the beginning of the season, it's more teaching them how that works, and then towards the end of the season, it's having fun with them, and since they know what to do already.
Ben Shoults is proud to be part of a turnaround in the Crimson football program and hopes it continues to be a top-notch group.
We used to be regarded as just kind of a low-tier team, and now over the past few years, as Lamo's been here, we've gotten to grow, and like you've said, one of the top programs in the state, and there's no better feeling.
Schultz earned all Metro honors and was on our Sports Jam all-area football team. As we mentioned, Ben is headed to Harvard next year, so quite a season for Ben and the Crimson this fall, John.
A great football team they had this year. Straight ahead here on Sports Jam, meet a DeLaSalle basketball standout from Brooklyn Park who survived a big scare on the court. The DeLaSalle boys basketball team is a perennial power, and this winter the Islanders are led by Brooklyn Park native and Gopher-to-be Jarvis Johnson. The fact that Johnson is alive, let alone one of the best players in the state, is a miraculous story. Here's Jason Malone with a Sports Jam spotlight from just a few weeks ago.
Jarvis Johnson wants to lead DeLaSalle to a fourth straight state title, and that will require the senior guard to be more consistent and effective on offense.
Last year, we looked into Reed a little bit more. This year, I'm more aggressive looking for my offense, getting everybody else more involved in transition, so it changed my game a lot more.
He's got to be more of a scorer this year for our team, and I think, again, it shows his basketball IQ in that he's looking for that more, he was more of a distributor in the last couple of years. This year, we need him to look for his offense. We're doing more things for him, and I've been really pleased with how he's accepted that role.
When he's on the court, Johnson is often laughing and smiling. Part of that is a pure joy for the game of basketball, but it also comes from knowing how precious life is.
It was so crazy because everything happened so quick.
When Jarvis Johnson was in 8th grade, he collapsed at basketball practice. His heart stopped.
And then they pronounced me dead because I was dead from 7 to 12 minutes. So after that, you have no oxygen. So, yep, I was pronounced dead.
Somehow Johnson was revived and suffered no long-term physical damage. But a near-death experience like that does change your perspective on life.
Stuff like that doesn't happen regularly on a daily basis. So it just makes me put myself even harder, go hard every day, even in the classrooms.
Johnson has poured all his energy into becoming the best student athlete he can be. Johnson will be a full academic qualifier when he graduates from high school, and he's been one of the most sought-after recruits in the state. Unlike some of the top players in recent years who have opted to leave Minnesota, Johnson will stay at home and suit up for the Gophers.
You know, growing up, I always wanted to play in the Big Ten, so it was between, like, you know, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Penn State, and a couple others. But, you know, I just wanted to start a trend. You know, why not stay here at home, play in front of my friends, family, you know, everyone in the community gets to come see me. So that's what it came down to.
You know, Jarvis has an extra gear that many high school players wish they had. He has it. You know, some can go to fourth, he can go to fifth in a hurry. He's also has a great basketball sense. He understands screen and roll on offense extremely well, very unselfish, willing to get others involved, and I think all those qualities are the reasons why the Gophers wanted him so much.
DeLaSalle is the preeminent program in Class 3A, and Johnson has started for the Islanders since his freshman year. A fourth straight championship would be amazing for a kid who embraces Islanders basketball almost as much as he embraces life. Jason Malillo, 12 Sports.
Johnson had surgery back in 8th grade to install an implantable defibrillator near his heart. The defibrillator is designed to keep his heart in a normal rhythm. DeLaSalle is 4-2 entering this week. Jarvis is averaging 19 points per game. Certainly gives him, Jay, a different perspective on basketball and life.
That's for sure. Appreciating what he has, and what a great story, and best of luck to Jarvis in the future, and happy to see somebody staying home for once too. Right. We'll meet a former Armstrong girls lacrosse standout when this holiday edition of Sports Jam continues. Armstrong's girls lacrosse team made its second consecutive trip to the state tournament in the spring. Late in the season, we met the Falcons' Mari Verbeten. She's wrapping up a superb 5-year career for the Armstrong girls lacrosse team. Mari Verbeten's become a go-to scorer on one of the state's better teams.
I played varsity 8th grade year, and I was really timid back then. There were like 12 seniors that year, and I didn't really know what to do, but they definitely helped me improve my game. And as the years go by, playing in the off season, playing during season, I'm happy where I'm at right now. I'm just having a lot of fun.
Mari's a very extraordinary player, and she's a very good leader on the team, and she's a great example for younger kids, and I've always looked up to her too. So she's a great person to lead the team, and she's doing very well right now.
Verbeten entered the Falcons' regular season finale with a team-high 28 goals. But 3 others have also topped 20 goals. She's a star, but has willingly shared that spotlight.
It helps a lot because then even if Mari does get face marked, we can still get the job done because we have a lot of scorers on the team, and it's yeah, Mari's a high scorer on the team, but there's other people that can score for us.
This year she's matured very much so, to the point where we had a game earlier in the week and I said, you want to go in? We had a substantial lead. I said, you want to go in and pad your stats a little bit? And she goes, no, let somebody else go in. So I mean, I appreciate that. She's really turned into a nice young lady.
Mari excels in lacrosse, but was also a key player as a defenseman for the Armstrong Cooper girls hockey team.
Verbeten with a rocket from the top.
Kind of depends what season I'm in too. Like if I'm playing it, I tend to like it more than when I'm not playing it. But I don't know, it's hard to say. I've been playing hockey my whole life, so I can't say that I like this more, but I also like this, and I don't know, it's tough. It's tough to decide.
Her hockey days are now in the books. It was a thrill to be part of a close group that elevated the AC program.
It was an incredible experience. Even though we lost to Minnetonka, I'm so proud of how we played that last game. We played hard till the final buzzer, and it was tough to end it on that note, but I'm proud of where we got to.
Some skills definitely carry over from one sport to another.
I think for both, I just see the field really well. I think that's my biggest strength, and I think that helps both in lacrosse and hockey. But I don't know which one I'm worse at, which one I'm better at. I don't know if I could determine that because they are different.
The Armstrong and Cooper boys hockey programs are merging this coming school year, as the girls did a few years back. We asked Mari if she has any advice for the players based on her experience.
It went smoothly for us, so just don't let the name Cooper Armstrong affect how you play. Just play the game because you love it, not because you need to just represent your school. I don't know. I think people have grown up. Armstrong, Cooper played in youth together, so I think that it will go fine and they'll still enjoy playing hockey because it's the sport they love.
She's had a lot of support from her family. Mari got to be a super fan 4 summers ago. Her little brother Mitchell and his New Hope Plymouth Little League teammates became celebrities by advancing to the Little League World Series.
I was so proud of him, and my sister and I, we had a lot of fun. We went to both the regional and to the World Series, and we kind of brought costumes along, and so we got our fair share of TV time because the reporters liked us too. We had like pom-poms and tutus and stuff, so I was proud of him.
Armstrong reached the state tournament in lacrosse for the first time last season, and they have a good chance to do so again. For Mari Verbeten, it'd be the perfect way to wrap up her high school career.
I think just playing at our level every day. We have had some games that I think all of us wished would have been a little harder, but I think just keeping the pace up, staying focused in practice, and just having fun all at the same time, I think we'll do fine.
Mari is now a freshman at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. She's studying biological systems engineering and playing in the club lacrosse program. And John, she was part of a good group of athletes in both lacrosse and hockey for Armstrong.
Great careers for them, and she's home for the holidays this week watching the Armstrong Cooper girls playing in their holiday hockey tournament. Next up, we meet a top wrestler from Totino-Grace with an inspiring story. Last February, we introduced you to one of the state's best ever wrestlers. Lance Benick was on his way to another individual state title. We found an athlete who was wrestling for more than just his team.
It usually doesn't take long for Lance Benick to get to work on the wrestling mat. The two-time state champion from Totino-Grace carries an 81-1 record with him over the past 2 seasons. On this night, he pins a Fridley wrestler in 11 seconds. He is the #1 ranked high school wrestler at 195 pounds. That's #1 in the country.
Well, my parents say it's kind of like a target on your back. Like everyone wants to get you and everyone wants to beat you because you're the #1 guy. And I like that because I like getting everybody. That means I'll have everyone's best match, and it's just I'll get pushed, and you gotta still wrestle like you're #2 and you want to be #1. You can't just sit on the #1 spot.
He's a unique wrestler where he has great talent. That's a D1 caliber kid, and great talent that he's born with, but he wrestles hard. He goes out there to tournaments, he puts a lot of time into it, so that's what kind of cultivates it.
That drive and work ethic is paying off. Lance is not only beating the best Minnesota has to offer, he's also had the chance to wrestle on a national and international stage.
I went to nationals a couple times and went out there, and then I wanted a little bit more tougher competition, so I went out to Akron, Ohio for the world qualifier to wrestle over in Serbia, and I won the freestyle division, so I went over in Serbia and wrestled, and that was a great experience. I got beat right away, but it was a great experience, and I'm looking forward to doing that again.
He works hard at his craft, but life on the wrestling mat for the most part comes easily for Lance. He wishes life for his mother was just as easy. Joanne Benick was diagnosed with a brain tumor in 2010 and was at stage 3 cancer. The cancer for now appears to be gone, but the 33 radiation treatments have had their effect on Joanne's health. Lance wrestles for her.
She loves wrestling. She'll never miss a meet or even if it's against the worst team in the conference. She'll come and support the team and support me, and she's always there, and it's awesome. And just seeing her overcome what she has, it's a big motivator for me. And when we're in here doing sprints or something, it's like, well, I can do one more sprint. My mom went through brain cancer and surgery and survived. I can do one more sprint. It's just something to help motivate me.
Give us to Benick. On the football field, #10 Benick was a versatile weapon for the state class 6A semifinalist Eagles. It's a sport he's played since 3rd grade, and he loves his multiple roles on offense.
They'll throw me in at quarterback or running back or tight end or whatever and just do my thing, and they just say, have fun, and I love it. It's cool being able to play more than one position and knowing more than one position.
With the section team title now secure for the Eagles, Lance and his teammates will wrestle for spots in the state individual tournament this weekend. His goal is simple, to be a 4-time state champion.
Totino-Grace has never had, I don't think they've ever had a 3-timer or a 4-timer, so
that's my goal, and that was my goal when I came here, so I'm going to try and work for that.
Lance did win another individual state title last season and is unbeaten so far this year and signed his letter of intent with Arizona State in November. He was also the quarterback for an Eagles football team that lost a heartbreaker to Eden Prairie in the Class 6A championship at the Prep Bowl.
Sidney Smith is the latest in a line of dominant pitchers for the Maple Grove softball program. Last spring, Jason Melillo profiled Smith during her junior season.
Sidney Smith remembers watching past Maple Grove pitchers and being inspired.
Definitely when I was a 7th grader, it was the first time I saw Shannon stick a throw, and I was like, I want to be like her. Like, I want to throw and strike people out like she does.
Smith doesn't have to want to do that anymore. She does it. The Maple Grove pitcher is one of the most dominant in the state and has given up just 1 run in the Crimson's 3 games this season. All wins for MG.
Last year as a sophomore, she was 19-2, I think, is what her final record ended up being. Really eclipsed, kind of what we thought. We knew she was going to be really good, but you're never sure. A sophomore pitcher, first time, we play a pretty competitive schedule, but she handled everything. And now even this year, as you can see, some of the things she's doing coming into her junior year have been great. And that's the one really good thing about her. She's just never satisfied with being good enough. She wants to even try to be better and better and better.
Jordan Malk might be the best power hitter in high school softball this spring, and she's also been Smith's catcher since Smith's freshman year.
Even from last year to this year, her curveball, I can't even tell you the difference between the two of them. Her rise ball's been such a great strikeout pitch that people can't lay off it even if they know it's coming.
And Smith says Malk deserves a lot of credit for her progression as a pitcher.
It always helps to have a good catcher behind the plate because she does a lot of calling herself, which a lot of people don't see, and she's very smart. Without her, most of the strikeouts I don't think we would get because she frames really well, and she talks to umps. She's good with umps, which helps so much.
Big-time colleges took notice of Smith several years ago, and she made a quick decision to accept a scholarship from LSU. The Tigers are a perennial power in Division I softball.
They definitely saw the potential. I think they saw that, she was going to be a strong kid in the program, or as she kept going, I guess. She's going to be a strong kid as they kept going. But I also think her personality kind of sells people because she's just a really outgoing kid, friendly. Everybody seems to really like being around her and talking with her. And she seems super comfortable with who she is.
The coaches and everything, they fit my personality and my, they're like a family. And I want that when I go to college, to be a part of a family. And the coach is also a pitching coach, which helps me because I'll be with her all the time.
When Smith gets to Baton Rouge, her days of April snowstorms and playing games in 35-degree weather will be over. But right now, Smith steps into the circle focused on leading the Crimson to a state title. Jason Melillo, 12 Sports.
Thanks, Jason. Maple Grove finished last season second in the state in Class 3A. The Crimson lost 3-2 to Lakeville South in the championship game, and Sidney signed with Louisiana State in November, and her presence should make Maple Grove a state contender again this coming spring. That will do it for this week's show.
We're back with our regular Sports Jam next week with highlights from some of the local holiday tournaments. Have a happy and safe new year.
Sharing your passion starts with taking that first step. Take Will, for example. His first step was taking free TV classes at Northwest Community Television. He's learning production skills and now has access to cutting-edge equipment. He's working on local music productions, meeting new people, and gaining experience needed to produce his own show. Best of all, he's sharing his passion for music with others in his community. Share your passion. Visit nwct.org.